Okay, hi, my name's Jim. Please subscribe, thumbs up, ring the bell. And this is what they're doing again today. Cattle in a trough. Cattle, pigs. Crazy. So they are doing another navigational flight, as you can see. Now, it's kind of simple, pretty easy to tell. They're bringing in a lot of pollen. Kind of simple to tell when they're bringing in. I mean, when they're doing a navigational flight, it's pretty simple. The girls are really docile. I'm gonna put these goggles on because my face is right in them. All it takes. I was doing a recording one time here, and there's this wind that would take these girls there was lots of them like this, and that gust would come like this and swoosh them right to the ground, and they would come back up and readjust right here, right, and that way, and I was recording for a half an hour, and that wind kept blowing them in my face, bouncing off my face. And I was getting ready to get up, and that wind came and did that with all those girls again, and one over-adjusted, and she landed right in my eye, and I started batting instinctively, and she climbed up a little bit and got me. So right now the wind is calm, so I'm okay. But the second I feel any gusts of wind, goggling it up. Right. So these girls, what they're doing is that queen laid every day, probably going in and around the first week of December. And they are doing these navigational flights every day. Now, I've had this girl, this queen, since May of last year. And I'd never seen this. Going on a year. It'll be a year in May. And so what this queen would do is she would live for about 3 or 4 days, and I would see this for 3 or 4 days. Then all I would see after that was just a few girls coming, taking off, coming in with some resources. Nothing like this. I would never see an orientation flight again for weeks. There were so many times I went, is that hive dead? Did that queen die? She just stopped laying eggs, right? But she's so good at managing varroa mites and infections that she was trying to get the hive healthy and stabilized first. And she did such a good job. And so this is the first time since I've had this queen in May that I have seen more than 4 navigational flights in a row. By far. This is like minus, like, I think it was like 2 days. It was so cold. The weather forecaster, she kept going back in, and they stayed in that whole day. But all the other days, so this, like that girl, she got bumped by another bee. She got right into my eye. And so this has been going on every single day except for those 2 really cold days. There was one day it was so cold they only had an hour. They only had an hour to feed before it was too cold and they had to go back in. So I put really hot syrup out, well, not enough to hurt them, and they're feeding up. I think I better get out of here because this is just too many girls, like, they're bouncing off each other and they'll like redirect right into my face. Right? Too many. Anyway, navigational orientational flights. Or you can rephrase it any way you want, put it any way you want. Orientational navigational flights. Anyway, excuse me, girls. Yeah, I'm coming through. Anyway, so yeah, cool, right? And so just a little bit here. Not much. And so yeah, it's kind of nice, man. I came up with these goggles. But I know I'm going to be in a situation where I'm going to have a lot of them in my face. It's kind of nice to just go, and then just do my business, right? Just, okay, no, and then I'm backing off and Or if I'm sitting here and maybe it's a small orientation flight, and nothing really happened, and I'm maybe doing something or whatever, and it's getting really big. I'm going, whoa, what, wait, before one, gets in my eyeball. I've had stings like right here, my whole face. I look like a turtle, and my lip came to a point right here, right? Face all swollen up. Yeah, I think I've had like five stings in the face, and yeah, no fun. But I learned a little bit from each one. I should have learned a lot. Sometimes knowledge is accumulated. Sometimes a little faster than other times. So these girls just loading in there. So this time my syrup, I got it to 130 degrees because there was still some syrup in these trays that froze, and so I wanted to thaw out. I wanted to warm up the syrup that was still in the trays. And so when that 130 hit that syrup, they just quickly backed away. Like, whoa, this is some hot syrup. Just a little too toasty. And so, yeah. They are feeding really heavy. Now today, it's going to get into the mid-40s, right around them. Maybe higher. That'd be nice, right? Mid-40s. Yeah, and so yeah. Oh my gosh, they already got that. They already have that all drinking up. So I'm gonna have to go get some more. And yeah, they've already had. And I just put that in there 5 minutes ago. 130 degree temperature. But now the syrup's kind of warm, and it's warmer now outside. And so now I'm going to get it around 110. Okay, I'm going to go mix some more syrup, and I'll be right back. Okay. This syrup here is 95, because I'm just going to be putting this right on them. So I don't want it too hot. About the temperature it would be in their hive. I better goggle up. Getting in my face. There you go, girls. Bon appetit. Wow, really? I really don't focus on filling these. Oh, I haven't anyway, because what I've noticed is that once they get full, they don't take any more, because they can only take so much in the hive at a time. And so what happens is, all of a sudden, they just stop feeding. No more feeding, because they've taken all that they can handle. And then they just leave them. Then they just leave the syrup. Just a few scragglers coming out after that. And so, get some of that stickiness off. Next thing you know, that stickiness is everywhere. It's like stickiness here and stickiness there and everywhere stickiness. So, anyway, so when I make a podcast, I really never know what I'm going to talk about. Right? I just grab my phone and go, go out there and make a podcast. And so, oh, they're really piling in now. Oh my gosh. So what I think I've achieved here is, I think I achieved preventing a portion die-off. So the bees going into fall, when she's laying those will typically live on up to 200 days. So those are long-term bees, right? They get to go to class, they get to learn something, they can live long enough, right? Get an education. Whereas the spring-on bees, those when those are laid, those are different bees. They have different levels of fat that they maintain, and they only live for between 30, usually max of 45 days from spring on. Go away. And so, if I had not caught that moment in time when they were out of honey or close to it, they know when they're running low. It's like, oh, we only got 4 jars left in here. We started out with 20. we need to downsize, right? And sometimes they'll wait until there's virtually no honey in the hive before they go out, really heavily start looking, because that's what happened. They were either almost out of honey when they started letting me know that they're out of food, or they're getting close and they knew it, and so they come out and they started buzzing me really heavy, trying to get my attention. None of them were trying to sting me, or the buzz was different. When a bee's wanting to being aggressive with me, the buzz is really loud. But when they're trying to investigate or maybe get my attention, it's a total different buzz sound. Almost gentle, but yet constant. When they want to sting me, buzz on or buzz off. Right, so, oh my gosh, they're really in there, man. Oh my, yeah, that was such a cool thought to come up with there. Yeah, those feeding jars, not a way to go. Except for when you have lots of marauders. Now, if you do have a lot of marauders, and you're looking to do splits or something, do some open feeding anyway. Just keep the food source away from the front of your hive, and feed the neighbor bees, so that when you go to do your split, those hives are likely healthier, have a better chance of being healthier. And when you do your split, there'll be some drones for your queens to go out and get mated with. I'm still not seeing any fighting, which I find a little disturbing. That's uncomfortable for me. I'm feeling a little bit anxious about that. If there's no fighting, could be no hives in my area that survive the winter, or the fall. They could have died in fall from diseases, varroa mites, river ones. Because I had a hive up to around fall, almost around fall. The farm bees, they were so heavily infested with diseases and varroa mites, I couldn't keep the varroa mites down. That girl, she would just lay thousands every day, and of course that's where the varroa mites lay their eggs, and she would never take a break. So therefore there was never a break for the varroa mites to go down, and it was such a hassle. From the very first hive I ever had until the last farmer bees I had, that's the way it was. Constant battle. Not this one. So I did take the panel out a few days ago, and there was like about 10 varroa mites. A lot of them look like white, so as if the varroa mites died in the cell, and the bees are just cleaning them out that are stuck to the inside of the cell, so the queen has a place to lay their eggs. But there was a couple of live ones. Don't get me wrong, there's varroa mites. There's always going to be varroa mites everywhere. Can't get rid of them, right? Now, when this queen, if she goes back into laying every 3 weeks, which is perfect, just 4 times, 3-4 times, days in a row, and then goes back to nothing for weeks at a time, the varroa mites will be eliminated, along with the diseases. Because before I combined the diseased hive with my healthy hive, I never seen any dead bees out in front of this swarm of that hive. Nothing with disease, no deformed wing virus, nothing in front of this hive. Until I combined the hive, about 3 weeks later or so, a bunch of sick girls coming out all the time, having the DWV, which is deformed wing virus. I did that to those, but I had to check to see their girth of recovery. I needed to that curious mind. I needed to know if they can recover on their own. And if she was going to, if she was the queen that I was hoping that she was. I just needed to find that out, because if I'm going to make a bunch of queens from a particular queen, I just want to know that she is the kind of queen that I'm looking for. I don't want to invest a lot of my time or effort and or resources that I store up and all that in a queen that just is stupid. Has an IQ of 20 or something. You know, I want a queen that has an IQ of 200, and this one has it. In the bee world. Right? In the bee world. And so, oh man, this is so cool to watch these girls feed in that way. This open feeding thing. No fighting. I would like to start to see some fighting. Yeah, come on now. I want to see some fighting. Come on, boxing match. I'm hoping to see that before I make my splits. Some fighting going on. So that'll tell me that there's other beehives in the area. Right now they're just loving each other. Oh, hi sis. Hi Mary Lou. Hi Susie. Let's feed together. So, yeah, that really sucked. No marauders. Means no beehives, means no drones. Now, my queen, the queens that I make, because she's probably in there contemplating making some drones, which is male bees. And so when I make some queens, and this queen here, she's laying drones and they're going out there, and I'm making queens and I let them go out. They will mate with their brothers, but it doesn't offer very much genetic diversity when brothers and sisters are mating. The Egyptians found that out the hard way. The pharaohs. Why does our offspring always look so retarded? Their body's retarded. Now, a lot of people think the word retarded is a bad word. No, retarded is a description that is opposite of normal, right? There's some things that happen that are a cause. There's a cause for it. And so what we use the word retarded, because the definition is not normal, and it's not normal for people to have 2 heads or 6 legs on one body. That's that's retarded, and so. And a form of retardation is just an expression of something that's not normal. And that's all retarded means. Look at that. It's in the dictionary. But it got a really bad name, retardation, because it was used as stereotyping children with autism or children with other disabilities. And so, but it's still a proper word, because it still means the same. When someone has autism, they're born with it. That's a form of not normal. It's not normal to be born with autism. It's not normal to be born with 6 legs or 2 heads or 3 heads. That's a form of retardation. And it's not normal for a snake to have 2 heads. That's a form of retardation. But to use it in a derogatory way at an individual, the person who's being called retarded, that has all the faculties going on, ain't gonna like that, because they don't want to be reminded of their disability. And I can appreciate that. Heck, I've been retarded. I've been called that lots of times when I was a kid, because I was a slow reader, and because of my dyslexia. Now, folks who are watching my podcast, you'll notice that, like one time I was talking about, and the bird flipped upside down and was flapping his wings. Well, I meant to be, and so my dyslexia, my level. Now, everybody on planet Earth has dyslexia, right? Dyslexia is when there's not enough of a chemical in the brain that allows the signals to go through the synapses into the next neuron. So what happens when we get a thought and the signal is trying to go through this portal and through the synapse into the next neuron, there's not enough chemical there because there's like 4 ports for information to go through into the next neuron. And this is where your synapse is. And there's another piece of the synapse here coming from a neuron. So, and then the other part goes to another neuron. And so there's a chemical that regulates these ports that open and close to allow certain information through. And if someone who has dyslexia, if there's not enough of that chemical floating around in there to open and close the ports at the right time, that port, I'm thinking about a bird or a bee, and that port stays closed when the signal comes to get that information and send it to the other neuron to complete the sentence of that was a bee or that was a bird taking a bath. It has to bounce back and go back where it came and then look for another port synapse to go to finally get to where it needs to go to complete that visualization of what that person with dyslexia is thinking. Now everybody experiences that, but people with dyslexia experience it more frequently because they have less of that chemical that allows the ports to open and close. That's it. That's all dyslexia is. Nothing more. Just, dang, you know, I missed it by that much. I needed that much more. Everything would have been normal. Yeah, so when I'm reading, so you know those words come up on TV, I'm going like, okay, words on TV. I like when I'm watching a movie or something, my preference is not to see words. My brain wants to focus on the visualization of what I'm watching and hearing. If I'm doing that on top of trying to read the words, for me it's less enjoyable to watch the movie because I'm distracted by the words on the screen and I'm not able to focus intensely on the visualization of the content and the words that are being said. So it's like I'm multitasking in 3 dimensions when really I function better. Probably a lot of people that way, even with people without dementia. I'm having to focus on the 3-dimensional thinking and reasoning instead of just 2. Right? It's like watching 3D and have things come at you. What? Whoa! And it's coming from the screen. You got to duck. So that's all. That's all dyslexia is. Man, I was fine in college. I was an AB student all the way through 5 years. So, but no, at the same time, people with dyslexia. So, for example, I became a speed reader when I was 9 years old, and it's about working at something consistently, really hard, and staying with it, and then getting really good at it, and staying with it every single day, and getting really good, right? Staying with the flow of what you know, and just get really good. So I just stayed with reading, going to the library, checking out as many books as I could, and reading thousands of books. And what I would do is I like going to the library, and I would grab a book and look at the glossary, look at the back, get the concept of the book and the story, and oh, that's an interesting idea and thoughts and storyline. Put that in my arm, and I would check out all the books that were allowed, because I'd go home and read them all as fast as I could, and then go back and do it again. So I became a very prolific reader and speller and all that. Yeah. I would even study the dictionaries because I wanted to know all the definitions. So when I was reading a book, I wanted to keep reading. I didn't want to be have to take out time to look up that word that I didn't understand, which helps because I wanted to stay with the flow of the book and the concept of what was being said and the storyline. I get into the stories. I love stories, ever since I was a little child, and I don't like to be taken away from the storyline. So I would read the dictionary. It was a child's dictionary, and I would study the whole dictionary, and then it was much easier to just flow right through a book and understand it so much easier. It was like, this is nice. Just keep on, going with the flow of the story without being interrupted with the dictionary. What does that mean? See Spot Run, Old Yeller, Pippi Longstocking. Those were my first books that I focused on learning to read. First one was See Spot Run. You know, then the little engine that could, and stuff like that. The Zeus books, you know, Green Eggs and Ham. Yeah, I quickly went through all those. And then about 4 months later, after I taught myself how to read, I was reading 300-page novels. Became a speed reader. Yeah, dyslexia, we have to be taught a certain way. It's very specifically different than normal people. Whatever normal is. So, yeah. Einstein had dyslexia. You'd be surprised. You can go on your phone. Who's been diagnosed with dyslexia? You'd be surprised who has what I have, dyslexia. Like, oh, professor at university, he does what? He writes what kind of literature? Yeah, it's about intense focus, and when we do that, the brain adapts to that intensity, and all those neurons and stuff, there's plenty of backup for it to go really quick, because, you know, light travels at 186,000 miles a second, and that's how fast those signals travel. So it can get there, but it just has to make a few pit stops. You know, like you get on a plane and you have to make a few pit stops, and it's not right to it, right? Most of the time, people who are normal, it goes from one neuron through the synapse right to the one where it needs to go. Pretty quick. Anyway, yeah, this is a lot of activity. This is so much fun. I love coming out here. Just watching these girls do their thing. And the reason why is because when I watch their body language, you know, engage their behavior in a sense, I get a good idea of the trajectory of how things are going to likely happen, and I can come up with ideas and thoughts and prepare things more efficiently. Yeah, I like these little feed trays. I'm going like, this ain't working. Not the way I would like. And so what they're going to do is they're going to fill up on this surf quickly. Oh, you're out already? They're going to fill up quickly, and then they're done. They can only take in so much nectar at any time. And then they have to stop because they have to dry it. my observational panel, when I took it out the other day to check for bromides and stuff, oh yeah, I was telling you I had about 10. And so that's not bad. I mean, as many eggs as she's been laying, yeah, I'm okay with that. 10. But that was in like a 3-4 day period. Like what, 3-4 days? Better than the 200 a day I was getting. It's like, dang. And I have not seen any diseased girls on the ground for a long time now. I think up until November, 1st of December, I was still seeing DWV, deformed wing virus. They didn't have no wings, or they're like really tiny. I haven't seen any for, I don't know, maybe more than a month now. I picked up a whole bunch of exhausted girls yesterday. Yeah, they were just told they burned themselves out. They died, right? And so what I do is I pick those up and I look really close. I have a magnifying glass I keep here. I'm looking for specific signs of diseases. You know, smaller torsos, or maybe overly expanded torsos, or wings that just aren't the length that they should be, or none at all. Right? And I've seen all that. And that's an expression of certain types of diseases. When I thought I was going to be catching some swarms a few weeks back, I had put a bunch of comb from my garage in a hive in the cherry tree, and I went out there, and there was, I think it was the next day, there was a whole bunch of poop on the outside of the entryway. What they did is they went in and they were cleaning up all those frames that I had stored over the winter, of all the mold and all that stuff, and they got diarrhea cleaning up all the frames. And they still had honey and pollen and nectar, and you know, it had mold, and those girls went in there in that 6-frame nuke sitting over here, and they cleaned all those combs up. They were a mess, all sticky and gooey and moldy and honey dripping from this one and that one, because I removed a lot of honey and they still had like some on the frames, you know. And then when I took those frames out to take them out of the tree there, I pulled the frames out to inspect them to see if the mold was removed. All the mold was gone. There was no more honey. They cleaned it clean. There was not a scrap of honey. All the pollen was gone. They cleaned it out. Good. Yeah, I wanted to start with clean frames. So what I'm thinking about, because I got a few jars of honey, the little tiny jars, smallish, smallest, like those little tiny jam jars. Yeah, I got I ended up with about 10 of those. I think what I'll do is I'll take one of those frames, lay it down, and fill one of those combs with honey, and use that like feeding. But I'll only do like the top part, so when it drains down, it'll just kind of drain into the other cavities instead of right down into my observational panel, and that'll give them time to lick it up. Anyway, it's another thought. I think like that. Yeah. Oh, here comes some pollen. Oh, it looks like it's from the neighbor. Yeah. So what's happening when this guy's feeding over here? The way that they the way that they pack it in their legs is totally different. It's a circle. On the outside, it looks like a circle. Now, when they're getting it from flowers and stuff, it's just a straight line along their legs. But when they get it from this dude over here, the way that they have to pack it in there, I guess, it makes it look like wheels. They can just tuck their legs under and roll with it. Right? Up, girl. Come here, baby. This is my dog, Ginger. She's a bee dog, aren't you? Yeah, she's my baby. My bee dog. Yeah, she's so pretty. She's a good girl. She's a good girl. Good girl. You can sit right over here. And so, and there you go. I come up with all kinds of crazy things, but they're so crazy cool most of the time. It's like it's better to try and fail at something than it is to fail at something by not trying, because it's 100% failure every time, right? So I like to challenge thoughts and perceptions that I get. First I'll build it in my head, and then kind of picture it, kind of look how it might end up, give it a kind of a trajectory kind of thought, and look at it all down the road, right? And so I was going to also say, when I got stung by a bee in the eye, the first time I didn't have a reaction, but the second time I got stung in the eye, same eye, I went to anaphylactic shock. And what was really weird that day is that when, it wasn't that day, so I ended up in the emergency room, but I didn't know what was going on for sure, but I got stung in the finger, right in the crack here, 2 weeks later, and I felt the same anaphylactic response. And so I thought, you know what? I can't have bees. Say what? So I sit down right here, and I thought, oh, right. And the thing that I decided to do is go into the brainstem. I focused where the brainstem is, because that's where all the adrenaline. That's where the lizard brain, or the lizard like instincts, something you have no control over, like your heart rate, your breathing, when you breathe, how fast you breathe. Yeah, that's an unconscious brain response. It's the oldest part of our brain, right? The brainstem. Lizards have it. My dog has it. The bees have it, some sort. And so, yeah, keeps us alive. So we can sleep and we keep breathing. Heart keeps pumping. Makes your heart pump when you're sleeping. Go away, nosy. And so, so what I did was I focused on all the what felt like fireworks going on. And so I closed my eyes and I focused on where the areas were inside my body that were freaking out. And I went in, using my mind, I went in. I went in. Right? Using my, in here, I went in. I wanted to see what it looked like inside, what was going on, and see if there was something I could do about it. And so all of a sudden I started to see a picture start to form. And the picture that my brain was allowing me to see was these cells. It wasn't perfect round, it was oblong, and it was different angles here and there, but it was mostly kind of like a potato. But it was kind of bulging in little different areas. And what I saw would look like little stars, but thousands of these little stars that are twinkling, right? They're twinkling and moving around. I was thinking, what the heck's that? Right? What's my brain showing me? And so what I realized is, oh, so that's probably antibodies that are being produced right now to come out and overreact and put me in an anaphylactic shock. So what I did is I created a electric force in my mind around that whole structure of where all those white stars were coming out. Because they were coming out fast. They were like building, like I was able to watch them as they were coming out, right? That's me going in an anaphylactic shock. That's the process of anaphylactic shock, right? And so as I was watching them expand, I'm trying to build this force. No, you relax, calm, there's no problem. And then I started seeing these look like electric impulses going in towards that ball. It wasn't a ball, it was a potato. And it kept going like that because I was doing that, calm. And I said, oh, I'm doing that? Okay, yeah, I'm gonna do it some more. And I was seeing these electrical charges, and I saw these white cells starting to slow down. Antibodies, the whole process started to slow down. I go, oh, I think I might be getting somewhere here. Okay, you guys, come on now. Everything's cool, chill. Go back in, relax, go back in. And then my brain allowed me to see what was going on with the cells. They were literally starting to collapse back into where they came. Some were kind of wandering off. I don't know where to go now. I thought there was a problem. I guess I'll just go this way. And some of them just kind of trickled off different directions, but not in a hurry anymore. Before they looked like they were in a big fat hurry. Not anymore. So I kept focusing like that until eventually they just kept dwindling smaller and smaller. That ball, that potato, went down to a dot and then nothing. Go away. Nothing. And I had other spots like that too I was visualizing, but this spot was making the other ones react as well. That's why I will focus on that one first. And all the other ones went along. I guess that was the boss. That was the alpha, the spot that I located. And so it took a total of maybe 4 minutes. Right? It took 2 minutes to start noticing the difference. Like, oh, I think I got this. In about 4 minutes, I got up and went about my business, and I was fine. I didn't feel a thing. But next day, I didn't even feel any pain that day until the evening. Then I started feeling normal, swelling, normal, right? If I would have sit down long enough, I might have been able to stop that. But I had things to do. I'm not going to sit down here and stay in that home state. Who knows how long I have to stay there to keep this controlled. So I feel like now that I understand the primitive aspect of the brainstem, because what was happening was the brainstem had developed a memory. Oh, we're going to react like this now every time we sense this venom, this bee sting thing. And I decided that no, brainstem, you weren't going to do that. All right? So next time I get stung, I still may have to do that until but I need to like get it immediately so that I can break that cycle of memory of my brainstem. Oh, that's happening. Okay, I need to do this. Send some signals. Get some white cells going. I need to break that instinct that developed for anaphylactic shock because of that particular venom. Oh, I got some girls going in the hive. You know, I thought I'd share that interesting thing. It's an interesting story, isn't it? Yeah, weird. So that's called neural brain science. What do you want, you curious little critter? Right? Neural brain science. What? They're all over the place. All over me. What? Really? If they're saying thank you, you're such a kind man, giving us all this food and everything. Okay. You're welcome. Go away now. And so, yeah, so neural brain science. And that's what neural brain scientists, that's the kind of stuff they study. Right? See if there's something that the human mind, what? Playing tag. You gonna play tag? So these are probably all new girls. They don't know nothing. They're coming out, exploring life for the first time. You know, like, who's this guy sitting here? Right? And they'll come to know me. They have facial recognition. So anyway, brain neuroscience. Wow, they're all over that tripod. Whoa. Oh, you out of food? Oh, is that it? Oh, I'm sorry. Here you go. Yeah, you certainly are out of food, aren't you? Here you go. Feed up. Yeah, they were telling me they were out of food. I'm sorry. Here you go. Get here. I get to Chattanooga choo-choo. I get to chatting and I forget to feed them. Okay. Maybe they'll leave me alone now. They were telling me they want. We're out of food. Aren't you gonna feed? Stop talking for a minute. Feed us. Feed me. Feed me. So. What? What's happening? My switch broke. My switch break? Got a broken switch. I don't know what's happening. Oh. Good thing I have a backup. Like the thing kept spraying. Oh, you want some water? Oh, you got plenty of water. Everything over there is water. All that syrup's got plenty of water in it. Oh yeah, now they're all in there. Yeah, I was sitting here, blah 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 blah, right? And they ate all their syrup. That's why they're all over me, buzzing. They're all over this tripod, and it was becoming more and more. Okay, they're all good now. Here, take a look. Isn't that neat? Sucking it down. Yeah. They were telling me, we're out of food, Jim. Jim? Hey, we're out of food, dude. Come on now. Aren't you the beekeeper? Aren't you supposed to feed us? Yeah, now they're not buzzing me. That's what happened. They ran out of food. And that's the exact same thing they did in the garage. Same thing. I don't have any food. A bunch of them are all around me, circling me. Same thing. I'm out of food. Come on now. Get with the program. That's funny. So, the brain neuroscience studies those kinds of things. How the neurons and synapses and how the brain uses those to transfer information and what kind of chemicals are involved in the transferring of information, what's involved in keeping the neurons and synapses healthy. Well, I explained to you how signals go through one of those little four ports. It only goes one at a time. That chemical that there already knows by certain signals from another synapse which port to open. That little chemical that's there, weird, huh? It's like a magnet force in there. And it lines up. Okay, yeah, that signal's going this way. Okay, it's going to go over there to that neuron on that side of the neuron. That's going to go to the synapse on the other right side of that neuron. Anyway, yeah, it gets a little up there. But The professor, he's got a master's in neural brain science. The way he explained it though, it was like it was like simple, like one of those coloring books. You got the little numbers in there. I was telling the same story to someone that I'm chatting with about this. The coloring book that has numbers. That's where I got the idea. Chat with this. I like chatting with people. They give me ideas, and when I make a podcast, because when I'm talking to someone, I create thoughts and ideas as I'm talking, and then when I'm sitting here, sometimes those same things come up, same phrases, same concepts, and I'm just sharing with more than one person. That's all. And so, anyway, so I studied that because I wanted to understand dyslexia, and I wanted to understand schizophrenia because I have a family member that has that, and he's doing great. He's doing really good. And fuzzy butts, these little gnats, they're like flying little fur balls. And some of them are blue. Their fur is like blue, and they're gnats, and they got this winter coat on, and they actually look kind of cute under a magnifying glass. They're little fuzzy, cold looking. It's got all that fuzz. Yeah, cute little gnats. And so, yeah, I studied that because I'm a curious person. I like to understand things. I don't like to be told things, right? I prefer it to someone to explain things, not to be told things. I'll say, why? Not that it is, but why that it is. That's the questions. That's the right question to ask. Not, oh, okay. No, it's why. Why? That's the appropriate response if we don't fully understand something. And I keep asking why in here until I get a sufficient response. And if I don't get the sufficient response that I know that I'm looking for, I'll wait. I'll focus on something else, and maybe that'll come back, into my perspective someday or not. Oh, there's some more girls over there feeding in my little bottle caps. I got little bottle caps. Is that 47 minutes? Oh my gosh, I've been talking that long. Holy moly, I better go. All right, yeah. Brain's a terrible thing to waste. Take care of it. From the field to the table, your brain loves it. Keep the weight off, exercise regularly. I got a good workout this morning. I feel fantastic. Oh, bee stings me. Even then, I'd feel good. The times I got stung, I felt great. Just kind of hurt where they stung me. All right, please subscribe, thumbs up, ring the bell, leave a comment, click the like. And you have a good day and good day.